Our next prepared speech is by Eric Jones, and Eric is going to do project 7, which is research your topic. And when you get the manual, apart from the objectives of the speech, it also gives you an assignment. So it says, choose a subject that will interest your listeners, one that requires a large amount of research. Well, if you hear the title of this speech, there has been done a lot of research in this topic. But I know for sure, because I've heard already quite a few speeches of Eric, that today we get a different insight, probably on this well-researched topic. So, with his speech entitled Love, we are going to listen to Eric Jones. So please welcome Eric Jones with his speech title Love.
Good evening, everyone. I met this girl at work and we made eye contact. I made eye contact with her and she made eye contact with me. So I thought, we're onto something here. And as the days went by, we continued with this game, and I plucked up the courage and asked her out, and we went out to a restaurant in central London. Enjoyed the meal, talked away, everything seemed to be going well. So I invited her out onto the balcony. There was nobody else there, and we started to embrace, and things really seemed quite close, and this was going to be a night to remember for the rest of our lives. So as things progressed, she said to me, "Do you love me?" I wasn't ready for this. So I said, "What do you mean by love?" And with that phrase, the passionate phrase, threw her legs right onto the concrete terrace. Another story, when I was a junior doctor, I used to spend a lot of time drinking coffee and chatting to the nurses. And a lot of the nurses were Indian nurses. And they had arranged marriages. And I wasn't really familiar with this. And so I got chatting to them about it. And they said, well, we don't actually meet our husband before we get married. We meet our husband after we get married. And I thought, that's a bit risky. But they said, no, it's quite all right, it works well, because you grow to love them later on. Again, I was a bit skeptical. And so I decided to research this topic by consulting 3 philosophers. And the first philosopher is a chap named Goethe, a German, and he's the equivalent of the English Shakespeare, but he lived 200 years later than Shakespeare, in the from the 1750 to 1850, that kind of century. So Goethe, and he's a very famous poet, wrote a lot of poems about love, and a famous philosopher as well, and a famous statesman, a very famous person. And he said that the emotion of love is completely different to other emotions. The emotion of love is completely different to emotions like friendliness or hate. If you've got somebody who you're friendly with, you like, or somebody who you hate, and then they go away and live in a different town, you forget all about it, and that emotion disappears. The emotion of love, if you're deeply in love with someone, and they go away and live in a different town, the pain and the love get stronger. So it behaves completely different. So then I looked at another famous philosopher, lived in the same period, Arthur Schopenhauer, and he was a theologian as well. And he said there's 2 types of love. One is the love of God, because God loves us, He puts us on the world, which gives us all beautiful things, beautiful house to live in, beautiful food to eat, and beautiful women. So God really does love us. And because he's done this to us, we, of course, love God. And the other love that we have, according to Schopenhauer, was the erotic love, and which is essential for the species to continue, because if we didn't have erotic love, we wouldn't be here. So that all made sense to me. And then I went on to study a third philosopher. This is a much more recent philosopher, and he's a philosopher who lived in Switzerland and in the United Kingdom. He was born in 1969, so he's more in our era. And his name was Alain de Botton. And he said that love is a blind emotion, and it really wasn't of much use. But he said that there's two types of love. There's mature love and immature love. Now, mature love, you're able to see what's good about the person and what's bad about the person. So that's one thing. With mature love, there's no obsessiveness and jealousy. So there's a second thing. And with mature love, there's give and take with the person. So with immature love, it's the contrary. There's lots of anguish and obsessiveness and jealousy. You're just infatuated and see the good side of this person. And it usually ends up with one person doing the giving and the other person doing the taking. So it ends up quite a short-term relationship. So how do you deal with this business of love then, it being so complicated? And he said that there's two ways of dealing with love. One is what is called positivism. And what you do with positivism, you look back at your previous love affairs and you reflect on perhaps the girl has some good points and you're sorry to see her go. And perhaps you could have been a bit kinder to her. So, the next time round, just be a bit more gentle. So there's a lot to learn about positivism. The other way of dealing with love is with pessimism. And with pessimism, you think, oh, this love was such a painful experience, I'm never going to suffer this again, so I'm never going to fall in love again. So that's not an ideal approach. But there may be indications when you might need to take that approach. So how do we conflate this this situation and have a long-lasting, happy relationship? Well, what this chap de Botton said was, don't have any knee-jerk reactions. Just do fine-tuning and fine-tweaking. You may need the positivism, you may need the pessimism, but not too much, just small tweaks. So, if music be the food of love, play on.